Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. Well guys, today we're going to be doing a basic field strip disassembly and cleaning of the Glock 34 Gen 4. If you have no experience with Glocks whatsoever, this video is going to be very useful to you. There's a few important things you need to remember when you're taking this firearm apart. If you already have a Glock, you're already going to be familiar with the system. It might be kind of nice just to check this out to see how much different the 34 is under the hood compared to, say, a Glock 17 or a Glock 19. Now, this particular Glock is on loan to me from Stan, the owner of SS Pawn in Lexington, Nebraska. Guys, Stan loans me firearms from his private collection, and this Glock 34 is no exception. And I bring them to you in range tests and tabletop reviews and so on. And Stan loans these firearms to me for free, and I'm able to bring you this footage. So let's go ahead and show SS Pawn a little bit of support. Guys, give them a call for all of your firearms needs, and they will take care of you. Contact info is going to be in the bottom of this video. Okay, well, basic supplies to clean the Glock 34. Really nothing too spectacular. Got some chunks of cut up t-shirt over here, cotton t-shirt that are pre-soaked, a little bit of CLP, some regular cleaning patches, a nice nylon cleaning brush, some barrel brushes, a cleaning rod with a patch on it. We'll use that for the barrel. Some rem oil, a little bit of CLP, and then also over here on the right hand side we've got some cotton swabs just for a little bit of fine detail work. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first step you want to follow is just ensure that the firearm is disassembled, so go ahead and remove the magazine. Okay, it's all clear. Check the chamber a couple times. Alright, all clear. Alright, let's move on to the next step. Now, one of the most important reasons why you want to check the chamber is because with the Glock, you do have to pull the trigger in order to release the slide. So to release the slide, all we got to do is just pull back a little bit, get yourself a nice grip on there, okay? Pull down on the takedown buttons right here in the front. Okay, release, pull the trigger, slide comes off, and we are good to go. Now, this pistol was recently used in a 3-gun competition, so it's had a few rounds put through it, not a lot, but it is a little bit dirty. And so we'll go ahead and just give it a little spray of some rem oil just to kind of break things up a little bit. Now, you can at this point take a brush to it if you want to. I just tend to wipe everything off and then see how it looks after I get done with that. And then from there, if I need to, I can go through and do some of the fine detail work. So starting at the front, just go ahead and grab yourself your little cotton cleaning patch, whatever you want to use, whether it's a t-shirt or if you buy the pre-cut patches at the store, that's certainly fine. Use your fingernails and get underneath those rails. We want to get all those carbon deposits out of there. I'll be taking this firearm to the range early next week, and so I want to ensure that it is nice and clean. Not that I ever really have malfunctions with my Glocks. I mean, you can. Any gun can malfunction, but it's always good to take a nice clean firearm to the range whenever you can. You know, a lot of guys will shoot these for a couple thousand rounds before they clean them, and that's fine too. You know, how you clean your firearm is always going to be your choice, your prerogative. Make sure that you get underneath your slide stop, your slide release mechanism. Get that all taken care of. Check the rear rails and so on. Yeah, this is a very nicely built firearm. This one is constructed in Austria. My Glock 17 was actually built in Georgia, so I don't notice a lot of difference between them. Sometimes with the finish you'll notice a difference. I believe the Austrian-made Glocks use some sort of a different finish than the American-made Glocks too, but really not a big deal. Alright, let's go ahead and take the cleaning rod here and just go through the handle, the pistol grip, and just clean that out, because you'd be surprised, you'll actually get a little bit of buildup in there. The idea is just to have a nice clean firearm that's ready to go when you need it. Okay, we got that all taken care of. Alright, that doesn't look too bad. And there may be some points that you want to oil. Definitely refer back to your owner's manual for that. Sometimes you want to hit just a little shot of some oil back here on the springs, a little bit up here towards the front of the trigger, and you should be all good. All right, let's go ahead and set that lower receiver off to the side, and we'll go from there. Now, we do have a captive guide rod spring unit, which means that the spring's not going to launch itself off, unlike some of the other videos that you've seen in my cleaning videos. So all you got to do is just simply pull ahead a little bit with some pressure and pull out that guide rod, and spring comes right out. It is a very beefy, heavy-duty looking unit. Go ahead and spray that down with some rem oil. Again, you don't want to leave the parts excessively oily. It's not necessary. You just want a nice, thin, protective coat. You know, if you're a person that does frog lube, you know, obviously you want to follow your procedures for frog lube. And I do plan on doing that with a few of my pistols soon. I just haven't had time. And yeah, just wipe it off. Make sure you've got a thin, protective coat. Good to go. I mean, these Glocks are very, very easy to maintain. Removal of the barrel, piece of cake, slide it forward just a little bit, and then pull back. Now, this Glock does have the cutout in the slide. I think they call them a lightening cut, not a lightning, but a lightening cut in the slide to give you a little bit less inertia, a little bit smoother shot, a little bit easier to do accurate follow-up shots. And it does have the, I believe, MOS plate is what they call it on the back. You can take that off the back and you can mount an optic on it. I am very, very interested in one of these pistols myself. I've got a friend that wants to buy my Glock 17, so I'm considering selling the Glock 17 to him and then just taking the money and buying one of these for a couple $100 more. Really interested in it. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and let the barrel marinate for a little bit. I can tell it's definitely dirty. Just go ahead and shoot a little bit of CLP down the barrel. We're going to let that soak for a little while, and what that's going to do is start to break up all of your carbon deposits and your spent powder and so on. Okay, shoot a little bit in the front. Okay, we're going to go ahead and let that sit. And you can at this point go ahead and just spray some CLP on the barrel and just go ahead and wipe it all down. That'll start to break things down. The Glocks, again, the finishes on them. I'm not a Glock, fanboy. I mean, I'm a fan of all kinds of different firearms, but they do clean up nice, and they're generally not that difficult to maintain. You just got to make sure that you maintain them, just following, like I said, your maintenance on your instruction manual and so on. Inside, we'll go ahead and spray just a little bit of CLP. Let's go ahead and get the straw out for this situation. All right. Want to spray just a little bit towards the front here. It's a little hard to sometimes get your cleaning cloths in there and so on. Okay, just spray a little bit inside the slide, a little bit towards the rear. And then what we're going to do is just take the cloth, okay, CLP silk cloth, and just go ahead and wipe it all around. Now we're going to spend a little bit of extra time on the front of the face where the striker comes out, and I'll show you what that part is if you're not familiar with it, mainly because you get a lot of brass accumulation or steel or aluminum accumulation in that area, depending on what kind of ammo you're shooting. All right, always get in there where the barrel is, get that all cleaned out. So when we're going to go ahead and take our cleaning rod again with the patch and just go into the front here, just kind of wipe that out. And again, all Glocks can be a little bit different. There's a little bit of variety between them. You may have to maybe just get a Q-tip in there or a swab if you can't get your cleaning rod in there. It's not a big deal. Yeah, this one's pretty dirty, but she's coming out clean. No problems there. Wipe towards the rear. This one still has some of that factory copper grease on the rear, the lithium grease on the rear. I know some guys are always adamant about cleaning that off. Other people say don't worry about it. I always clean it off, but on this gun, since it's been fired quite a bit and it doesn't seem to have any issues, I'm going to go ahead and leave it. Plus, it's not my firearm, so I don't want to really modify it from the original condition that it came. Okay, now what you want to do is go ahead and take a little bit of CLP on a cotton swab and just run that down the tracks of the rails, and you'll be surprised with how much carbon and deposits and crud you're going to pick up when you do that. Okay, now we'll go ahead and catch the other side here. Apologize, I've been a little slow this morning, guys. I haven't put down my first morning cup of coffee, so if I'm a little jarbled, I apologize for that. But anyway, all right, go and clean out the other rail. So you do have a little bit of a buildup that gets in there. And again, I'm probably a little more meticulous with cleaning my firearms than a lot of people. A lot of guys just give them a general wipe down, and that's fine. You maintain your guns however you want to. It's really not that big of a deal. What's important is that you do clean them when you can. I like to get down in this little striker area down here with the cotton swab and just wipe that out with a little bit of CLP. Just a general bit of lube. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's coming along nice. I think we're about good to go. Go ahead and wipe out the slide one more time. Well, I'll tell you, having that little cutout area, it really makes it easy to access towards the front of the barrel. Man, it's just a piece of cake. That is very, very cool. I like that. All right, kind of wipe off the outside a little bit too. We're going to give it a finishing coat once we get done with it. The front of the area here where you have your striker that comes out right here, what you want to do is go ahead and just take a little nylon brush, put a little bit of CLP on it. Now, I don't like to tilt it back because you don't want a lot of oil to run down into that hole where the striker comes out. So we'll just kind of take it and tilt it and just go this way. And just kind of scrub that off a little bit. You can use a soft brass brush if you have one too. This will get some of that buildup off of the area where the extractor is and the striker itself, where that comes out. Now, once you kind of get that initial wipe down, then you can hold it with whatever angle you want to as you scrub it. This one's got a pretty good buildup of some brass on the back here. I might work on that a little bit with the brush later on. I can tell behind the extractor, this little hook right here, that there is a little bit of crud that's back there. So we'll go ahead and take some CLP again on your cotton swab and just kind of wipe behind that area and get some of that buildup off of there. I mean, the last thing we want are malfunctioning issues because of a dirty firearm, right? All right, so that takes care of that. Again, we're just kind of scrubbing around the general area. And again, you'll be surprised where carbon builds up on these pistols when you clean them. all the little nooks and crannies just starts to fill up. Okay, so we got that all taken care of. The slide looks nice and clean now. It's good to go. All right, we'll go ahead and just set the slide off to the side. All right, now for the barrel, I'm going to go ahead and take a couple cleaning rods here. These are just some cleaning brushes. This is just soft brass, and this is just soft nylon. We're just going to go from the back. Now, this is a fairly long barrel, and this little brass brush is not going to clean it all in one shot. So we're going to scrub a couple times from the back, scrub a couple times from the front, and there's going to be all kinds of crud and crap coming out of the barrel. Not a big deal, guys. That's what you want. We're also going to wipe off the rear of the barrel at this point where the feeding ramps are. And right here especially, the top of these little lugs, the top of the barrel, you do get a lot of carbon that builds up there. Again, you know, you can put as much time and energy into cleaning your firearms as you want to. I like mine to go back into the gun vault, so when I pull them out, I want them to be pristine. I don't want to have to worry about any issues in case I have to grab them and go. All right, go and clean that a couple times. We're going to go front to rear. I know typically I just go from rear to front, but with these pistol barrels, it's okay, guys. We're not messing anything up. Okay, now we'll look down that barrel. Let's get that in focus a little bit for you. It's nice and shiny. You can see there's no deposits in there. All the big chunks have been taken out of the barrel at this point. I don't know if you guys can see that. You should be able to. All right, so now what we'll go ahead and do is put just a fresh patch with a little bit of CLP on it on the cleaning rod. Now when we're all done with this, guys, you can take just, you know, a dry cloth and just go over the whole gun and wipe it off if you want to and take off any of that excess CLP. I tend to like to let things kind of soak, especially on a gun when I bring it home for the first time, just so that it has a nice little protective coat on it, right? Again, go from the front to the back. If you got a cleaning rod that's long enough, then obviously you won't have to do this. You know what? That barrel looks pretty spotless right now. It looks very good. See nothing in there. There's just a little chunk of swab that's in there, or a little chunk of patch that's towards the rear of the barrel. So, all right, now we'll go ahead and take a fresh patch with some oil on it, just wipe off the outside. And we're going to begin the process of reassembly here. Again, doing this all basically in one take, so if there's any mistakes, you're going to see it happen right here on camera. All right, it's always dangerous doing these cleaning videos before my first cup of coffee. So, all right, go ahead and set the slide down. We'll go ahead and put your barrel back in. Just make sure that it locks back into place so that it's nice and flat all the way across. Okay, you should not see anything. It should not be down like this. It should not be popping out of the top. Okay, we'll make sure it's nice and flat. All right, no problems there. Let's go ahead and take the cleaning rod, guide rod combo. I'm sorry, the cleaning rod. God, I do that every time. The guide rod and the spring combo, and we'll make sure that you have the little plastic nub facing forward, little disc towards the back. There's a notch here in the barrel that it's going to set in. So just go ahead and push that back into place. Okay, guys, so one thing I needed to double check, and it's just because I don't have a lot of experience with this pistol. You've got about an inch gap here where the guide rod is not poking out of the front. And that's perfectly okay on this particular model. On many other semi-automatic pistols, you're going to have the end of your guide rod sticking out of the end here, but it's okay with this one. It's not going to go through anyway, so you don't have to worry about it. Should be nice and level if you install it properly. There's a little gap here towards the rear of the barrel. There's a little cutout where the rear of your guide rod and spring combo is going to rest. Okay, so we got that all taken care of. All right, nice and clean. Let's go ahead and reassemble the firearm. It's pretty simple. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, one last thing I want to do. Let's go ahead and take a clean cotton swab. Again, you don't want to over lubricate your Glocks, but it is nice to have just a little bit of lube in the right places here. So take a little bit of CLP on your cotton swab and just go across the tracks. These where your rails are going to ride, or the rails themselves. Okay. Make sure you've got just a little bit of oil on those parts. Okay. All the way across, all the way back. There we go. Just so you can see just a thin protective coat, and that's going to let the slide glide across it with no issues. Okay, so let's go ahead and reassemble. Okay, it's very simple. Just put it back on, slide it back. Slowly, you'll feel it click. Okay, and she's good to go. Go ahead and check the chamber again. Okay, we're empty. Go ahead and pull the trigger. Okay, check your reset. Very nice, and we are good to go. So guys, in a nutshell, that is what it takes to clean up your Glock 34. I keep wanting to say Glock 43. Jeez, I need to go back to bed. And it's really not that bad. I mean, it's a very simple pistol to clean. It's a nice large pistol. It's easy to manipulate, maneuver, and to disassemble, and there's a lot of surface area to work with compared to a lot of the compact pistols you sometimes see on my channel. So that's it, guys. That is the cleaning of the Glock 34. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today, guys. Please like or subscribe if you like the channel. I do a lot of different cleaning videos and a bunch of different firearms. And you can check me out over on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm also over on gunchannels.com with the Ordinary Average Guy Gun Channel. And on Saturdays around 8 a.m. Central Time, when I have time, I do a live podcast called Caliber Corner. And we've got a variety of different topics that we cover on those podcasts, so please check it out. Again, that's 8 o'clock Central on Saturdays on YouTube, and also over on gunchannels.com. You can support my channel over on Patreon if you'd like to. It's www.patreon.com/TravisP11. And again, all that information, as well as the information for SS Pawn, can be found at the bottom of this video. So I think that pretty much wraps it up, guys. Okay, I want to thank you for joining us today. Early next week, we'll be bringing you the range test of this Glock. I'm really looking forward to shooting it. It looks like it's going to be a smooth shooter. So there you go. All right, guys, I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. Have a great rest of the week. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.